It's great to be here. I'm very happy to had this opportunity to join this community, OpenEd. I'm new to it. I'm no expert, so I just don't want to raise your expectations too high. But I'm a work in progress, and I'm also representing an institution who is starting to think strategically about open education. And sorry for the starting; it's just the way it is. But I'm here also to learn. I'm here to meet the people, and I can tell you I could change my presentation in real time every time I'm hearing new things, because I've had the opportunity to really hear very interesting projects and activities and initiatives going on in this area. And the last one were just my colleagues from presenting this Open EdTech. I'm going to sign in. I'm going to join you. So, yeah, you hear that. Okay, why am I here? Actually, I didn't want to sit here and present you something. I wanted to make a workshop, but somehow it didn't work out. So I ended up now being here and opening a window, which I hope will give us opportunity still to connect in the end. So I thought about taking you with me on a modest journey on how what about institutional change and OER, open education in a more general way, and a journey which takes me in parallel to look at my institution and how this institution is harvesting or not the potential change, and how this could be also a way to promote and share this further with our partners for whom we work. So I hope it makes sense. Yeah, that's how I'm going to talk about it today. So I know it's not a pitch, I promise, but I need some context. I need some context to give you why am I talking about this institution. But UNU is not really a university, it's a kind of global network of institutes, and we are doing mainly research and capacity development, and we are spread out around the world. You see, I don't know if you see, but the red spots are the places where the institutes of UNU are situated. So we have a great potential for distance education, because we have so distributed network. And the specificity of what we do is to look at the problems and try to contribute to finding solutions to that. And they are all around the areas of sustainability. So we look at, you see the list of fields of work which are listed here. This is all the work of UNU in this area, in research and capacity development mainly. And since December 2009, we are also become accredited institution by the General Assembly of the United Nations to also provide master degrees and PhD programs, which we mainly do since 37 years that we exist by doing that jointly with other universities. So we're not going solo, but we're partnering with institutions all around the world to do that. But we are bringing the development corner to universities and to the work of universities. This is where I am, and this is not easy to see, but the small building, not the big one. The big one is the Post Tower in Bonn, in Germany, and the river is the Rhine. But I'm situated on this 28th floor of this building there with the UN flag on the top. And we are actually one of this institute of UNU. We are the vice rectorate, and we are focusing on this topic of human security to ensure science and technology for human security. And, well, what we do is mainly networking and doing some capacity development work and trying to also strengthen the relationship of UNU within the European context, so with partners in the European universities, with partners of other UN agencies. We have Vienna and Geneva. New York is a little bit also further, but also UN is in other places. So that's why I'm here also, because I want to connect to as much as possible to hear about what is going on and try to see how we could bring you to work for development together. So my particular role in this institution, it's a self-appointed job, I have to say. It's to promote innovative learning scenarios in the way we deliver capacity developments and the way we do things with the people in developing countries. So I'm trying to pull out wherever I can find interesting things in the world and and test it, use it in some of the projects with my colleagues who are working on human security, on sustainability and peace and so on, and trying to bring these ideas, this way of doing facilitation and knowledge sharing and innovation in education to do better their work. So in doing that, and this is true for open education, because open education, although you are here the real specialist and the experts, and you are bringing this field forward, and it's your everyday life, and it's normal for you that since 20 years we're working on that, or maybe not 20 years, not 15 maybe. But in many institutions, it's not the case. It's just not in their horizon. And I know it's a bad thing that I'm just to remind you of that, but the reality, it's also in our institution. And to change, to bring this into institutional way of working, because it's my topic and it's my interest, needs change, needs organizational change, and changing the culture of people to share knowledge, for example, or mainly, in order for harvesting this into their work, into their development work. So we have started to do things in Bonn. We try to bring the colleagues who are working in their little offices, separated out by big, nice doors and wooden doors, to come together and try to share what we know, what we learn. So we share about social media, we share about how to use Twitter and Facebook and in their work. We share about how to integrate, how to blog, how to integrate knowledge sharing, how to do graphic facilitation, how to do things different. And so this is, we are trying to bring this, and we see ourselves as knowledge broker in this. So I said that we are also using the social media for knowledge sharing. So I think this is, for me, all this is part of trying to make things open, to change the way we deliver capacity development, that we do education. When it comes to open educational resources and practices, like more specifically, at UNU we have started up to 1996. This is where I could trace back. I'm not sure I have made the full scope, but that's what I could find. 1996 we started with resources, but this is just you cannot probably see it, but you have a list of open resources available that you can find from us, and they're very good, they're very interested, but they are resources. This is two other examples, courses on, they are not really courses, they are resources on strategic environmental assessment or environmental impact assessment. So these are resources available, produced by UNU with partners. Okay, that's good, resources. We started like many of you and many institutions. Now, after that, we started to develop, to come across more complicated, more sophisticated on developing open course and open courseware, and this is one initiative, again, an interesting grassroots initiative. I'm just also making this aware that how this process was creating at our institution. So colleagues came together. I think one of them is present here. He's one of the pioneers at UNU in open, and his name is Philip Schmidt. I want to congratulate him and tell him, oh, Philip, thank you for your great work. He's not with us anymore. We didn't manage to keep him, but it's a shame. But he was the one pushing to get UNU into the Open Courseware Consortium, which we are now part of. Okay, we have courses there available. That's great. But I have to say something a bit negative about it, is that it didn't just, use the momentum to create something out of it. The courses are there, that's great, but what else? How can we go further? So I think there is a need, and I'm here also to learn with you how this could be done better and move forward. UNU went open also on other ways. There are people also working on research project and developing courses, other courses. Okay, research project. on FLOSS, OER, and open education. These are a list of projects. I'm not going to go through it. You can find information about it. I can also give my presentation, make my presentation available. So some are open-funded research project on computer engineering, for example, or the use of the free learning software. And the last one, the one on this list, is interesting because it's ongoing, and it's also a project which I find interesting in the talk, that looks at how what could be an open course and how could open educational scenarios look like. That means how in lots of projects that we have in open, you have open source, open content, but you even have find courses on using open source and open content, but the way the courses are made are not really innovating scenarios of, not innovative pedagogy or educational scenarios. And this one looks at how we really integrate open courses like I don't know if you heard the one from Cognitivism made by George Siemens. So this kind of open courses that needs to be explored. Okay, from OER to OEP, that's the next line of thinking that we are at now. Where we have the content, and how do we now turn into the practices and the way we change our how we integrate those into real practices. So there is a transformative potential, but it's not yet really fully tapped, I think. We are part also one partner of this OPAL initiative. There are people here presenting this in more detail, so I'm not going to go about it. This is one way we are thinking about it, how OER and how the open educational practices using OER can transform education and become a catalyst for quality education, and not just a way. I mean, it's not just a way, but there is a risk and there is a danger that in some cases institutions think of OER and OEP as a way to reduce costs, because it's free and because it's available. You can have teachers and developers spending time on it, and then so there is a danger if the business model is not fully integrated or thought about, that it turns into dumping content rather than really thinking about how to turn it into quality. There are other interesting thoughts. We have, how many minutes do I have? 5, so it's not so much. We think about open education in Africa, so because Africa is one of our areas of practice and experience as we are working and developing in the developing world. And I don't know if there are many talks about Africa here. I mean, I didn't see much, but if you are there talking about this or interested, okay. I'll come to you, and I want to hear about it. Okay, good. I have to. So we have been working with some partners in different universities in Cameroon, Kenyatta, and in East Africa, also with other universities, where we are trying to think about ways to make people empowered to use all these potentials. And a remark that I've heard a lot from the partners is this OER thing, just a thing from the north, wanting to again tell us how we have to do things. And I mean, a lot of resistance is also there. Sometimes I say, okay, I want to be able to do my own content. I want to be able to also create and be empowered to use this and integrate this into my practice and make my university aware that if, I'm spending this time on making my course, making it available online, trying to think up a new educational scenarios, this is a worthy time. This is not something which, I'm just going to do it because the North is telling me there is a research project, you have to be part of it and do it with us, but really because my institution institution has understood it and integrated into their plan, their practices, and give the right incentives and provided the support for the teachers to really do this work. It's not just about people not being aware out there that there are educational resources available. I mean, sometimes I hear that as well. It's really about how these institutions can become empowered to integrate that in their practice and use it as a leverage for making quality education and giving access to education. Okay, so there's one project in Cameroon where we try to integrate the production of OER and the integration of OER in the process of creating a center at the University of Virtual Learning University at Yaoundé. And it involved a lot of talks, by the way, with the lobbying, the people at the university, the vice-rector and the rector, and staying again and trying to... Okay, that's also part of the work. So my last point I want to say is that I have learned, and I'm sure I don't know all about it, so I'm really hoping that you will give me your business cards at the end and tell me about what you do, that where we have to go now is to come together and in networks and alliances to make this area become powerful and become integrated in institutional practices. And so the networks, and I have found some of them, so I've listed again some of them related to Africa, but I found this one, so I don't know who is from AllNet. I know there are a lot of people from there presenting this about it. I find it a very interesting practice, this creation of this network by the Carnegie Mellon University and the Open University UK. I have 2 minutes left. And there must be so many more of these. The Open Ed Tech, which I've seen just before the presentation of my two colleagues, Imagining the 21st Century, this is a very interesting way, and this is also connected to something we try to do at UNU, is to open up a dialogue for universities from developing countries and developed countries to think about how the next step university should look like, how universities can harvest and integrate the power of open education and e-learning and new practices to become part of the 21st century new education mode. So this is something which we could connect on with you. We can exchange about it afterwards, the experiences. We organized workshops, and we also had several online discussions going on with our networks. And this is University 2.0. We hosted it on a platform called Science Connect, which is a very interesting platform, open up to everybody. It's not just university, but everybody. And there we hosted discussions with experts, and every time we have a conference or we do a workshop or something, we organize a follow-up, or we try to bring all these people onto this network there so that the discussion can continue to form and people can continue to connect, people can meet and find partners and so on. So, okay, I think I have tried to give you an impression of how we do things and how we connect to this topic of institutional change from open educational resources and scenarios, and I hope that we will have other chances to connect and talk to each other. Thank you very much for the time.
Hi. Hi, thank you very much for your presentation. I had the sense, as you were talking there, that you're approaching this not solely from the perspective of we have stuff to give, but actually of listening to what people are asking for and wanting them to come from a position of what they're looking for and needing, not just giving it to them. And I guess it just brought two things to my mind, because I do feel like I often work in a field that is pushing solutions on people who aren't necessarily asking for them. And so one is just to describe yourself, how that comes about for you. How do you listen and find out what those needs are? And is there maybe a role for your organization to play that larger role for others in connecting people who have things and don't have things and putting them together?
Thank you for your comment, and I'm really pleased that you see that, because I think at first it starts from a conviction. That's the way to go about it, and it's more like a grassroots push in my organization rather than a real strategic idea. That's how we go about it. But I hope to leverage more support from the organizational perspective, so that we could have more power and we could join forces and really make an impact, because that's what we want. That's what we want to. Yes, how to listen to people. This is when we do, for example, when I participate in such conferences, I usually would not like to sit here and talk to you, because that's not the way. That's not working my talk. But if I would organize a workshop, and actually this was planned to be a vision building workshop, where I would have my team, my graphic facilitation team, to come and build a landscape and ask you to, bring all your ideas together and construct together an idea of how these open educational practices could be part of the 21st century. And I would have done that way. And then I would have invited you to come to our online platform and continue the discussion out there, to put resources, documents, references, and continue to talk to the people you've met in this place, because workshops and are places or conferences where you meet people and you can meet eye to eye and you can see who they are. And then you want to connect sometimes. You want to, yes, I've come across this guy there. He wanted to do this. Oh, yeah, maybe I should send him the link, or maybe I should ask him to come over, and so on and so forth. So it's really about using opportunities to connect and bring them together. And I hope to make it as a way of working for my institution.
Thank you. I think it's related. Can UNU provide accreditation for organisations working across international frontiers in terms of degree programmes?
So you mean if UNU could, for example, you have a degree program, if we could accredit your program
through UNU, yeah.
That's a good question, because we are at this moment, I just said before, we just started with this accreditation business, and we are now building this quality assurance framework. It's quite a big thing. But if you're interested, just contact us, and then we'll see what we can do. For the moment, we don't have a fully fledged, clear, mainstreamed way to do that. But let's negotiate.